For this child I prayed, and the Lord has granted me my petition. So I have lent him to the Lord.
Hannah dedicates Samuel. In the ancient times of Israel, there was a man named Elkanah who lived in the hill country of Ephraim. Elkanah was a faithful and devout man, known for his annual pilgrimages to Shiloh to worship and offer sacrifices to the Lord at the tabernacle. He had 2 wives, Hannah and Peninnah. Peninnah had children, but Hannah had none. This childlessness was a source of deep anguish for Hannah. As in her culture, having children was a significant blessing and a source of personal pride. Hannah's heart was heavy with sorrow because of her barrenness, and she endured the taunts and provocations of Peninnah, who would mock her for her inability to bear children. Each year, during the family's visit to Shiloh, Hannah's grief became more acute, and she could not participate in the feasting and festivities with a joyful heart. One such visit to Shiloh, Hannah was particularly distressed. She went to the temple of the Lord and prayed earnestly. She made a vow to God, saying,
"Look upon your servant, do not forget me."
O Lord of armies, if you will indeed look upon the suffering of your servant, and remember me, and not forget your servant, but will give your servant a son, then I will give him to the Lord all the days of his life, and his hair shall never be cut. Hannah's vow was a promise that if God granted her a son, she would dedicate him to the Lord's service for his entire life, setting him apart as a Nazirite with a special commitment to God. As Hannah prayed, her lips moved, but her voice could not be heard. Eli the priest, who was sitting by the temple entrance, observed her and mistakenly thought she was drunk. He confronted her, saying, "How long will you behave like a drunkard? Put away your wine." Hannah, with a broken spirit, explained that she was not drunk, but was pouring out her soul before the Lord. She described her deep anguish and grief, and clarified that she was praying out of her great sorrow. Eli, recognizing his mistake and moved by her sincerity, responded with a blessing. "Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant the request you have asked of him." Hannah's demeanor changed after this encounter. She went her way, ate, and her countenance was no longer sad. She left the temple with renewed hope, trusting that God had heard her prayer and would fulfill his promise. Hannah returned home with Elkanah, and in due course she conceived and bore a son. She named him Samuel, which means, "Because I asked the Lord for him." The birth of Samuel was a profound blessing for Hannah, a fulfillment of her earnest prayers and vows. When Samuel was still a young child, Hannah honored her vow to the Lord. After weaning him, she took Samuel to Shiloh, bringing with her a sacrifice of a young bull, flour, and wine. She brought Samuel to the temple and presented him to Eli, saying, "As surely as you live, my Lord, I am the woman who stood here beside you praying to the Lord. I prayed for this boy, and since the Lord has granted me the request I asked of him, I now give him to the Lord. For as long as he lives, he is given to the Lord." Samuel was then dedicated to the Lord's service, and he began to minister before the Lord in the temple under Eli's guidance. Hannah's act of dedication was not just a promise fulfilled, but a testament to her deep faith and trust in God. She offered a heartfelt prayer of thanksgiving and praise to God, which is recorded in 1 Samuel 2. Her prayer reflected her gratitude and her recognition of God's sovereignty and justice. She praised God for his greatness, acknowledged that he lifts the humble and protects the needy, and expressed confidence in his ability to judge and uphold righteousness. Hannah's prayer included a prophecy about the coming of a future king, highlighting the Lord's power to change the course of human history. She declared, "The Lord kills and gives life. He brings down to the grave and raises up. The Lord makes poor and makes rich. He humbles and he exalts." Her words were a profound statement of faith in God's ability to govern the world and transform lives. Hannah and her family returned to their home in Ramah, and she continued to bear more children, experiencing the joy of motherhood with the blessings of several other sons and daughters. Samuel grew up in the temple, serving faithfully as a young boy, dedicated to the Lord's service. He would later become a significant prophet and judge in Israel, playing a crucial role in the transition from the period of the judges to the establishment of the monarchy under King Saul and eventually King David. Hannah's story is a powerful example of faith, perseverance, and fulfillment of vows. Her dedication of Samuel to the Lord reflects her deep commitment to God and her understanding of the sacredness of making and keeping promises to Him. It also serves as a testament to God's faithfulness in answering prayers and fulfilling His promises, demonstrating that He is attentive to the cries of His people and is willing to bless those who earnestly seek Him. Through Hannah's faith and Samuel's subsequent ministry, the story highlights the importance of devotion, the power of prayer, and the significance of dedicating one's life to God's service. Hannah's narrative is woven into the broader tapestry of Israel's history, contributing to the unfolding story of God's people and His divine plan for their redemption and governance.